morning, dear students, and welcome to today's class. In this particular class, as I told you in the Google Meet last week, we will be starting with the Act 2, Scene 5. Now, before we go on to the text of this particular scene, let us try to understand that what this scene is basically about. Now, some key points of this scene. Now, this particular scene is set in a street in front of Shylock's house in Venice. Shylock prepares to leave for Bassanio's dinner party, and this scene provides yet another dimension to Shylock's character. We see him not only as a moneylender but also as a villain. In fact, Shylock's character from this particular scene begins to emerge strongly. We see that he is also a villain despite being a moneylender. He shows a marked aversion to any form of entertainment, and Shylock's aversion to entertainment springs from his hatred for Christians, and especially for those who take part in such celebrations with the varnished faces and disguise. Now, when Lancelot comes to Shylock's house to invite Shylock for Bassanio's dinner party, Shylock warns him not to gormandize or sleep whole day and wear out his clothes like he used to do in Shylock's service. He then calls upon Jessica, informing her that he is leaving for the dinner party, and hands over the keys of the house to her. Now, Shylock knows that he has not been invited out of love. Moreover, he is hesitant to go because he foresees some evil going to take place, for he has dreamt of money bags the previous night, and dreaming of money bags was considered to be an ill omen. Lancelot informs Shylock about the masque that has been arranged for entertainment at dinner. The moment Shylock hears this, he is horrified and warns Jessica to stay in the house and keep the doors and windows locked. He further orders her not to open any window to gaze upon the Christian fools and their masquerade. He does not even want the sound of shallow foppery to enter his sober house. After Lancelot departs, Shylock tells his daughter that he is glad as the lazy clown, that is Lancelot, who is a slow worker and who used to sleep whole day, has finally left his service. He further says that Lancelot would assist Bassanio in squandering his money, in wasting his borrowed purse. However, Shylock leaves the house, warning Jessica once again to guard the house. Now, left alone, Jessica anticipates her elopement with Lorenzo and hopes that if she succeeds in her plan, she would lose a father and Shylock would lose a daughter. That means what? She is going to run away with Lorenzo, marry him, and become a Christian. and therefore she is not going to keep the trust of her father. She would lose her father, and at the same time Shylock would also lose his daughter. Now these things will become gradually clear when we do the text of this particular scene. So here we are going to discuss the text of the scene. So as said before, Act 2 Scene 5 takes place in Venice before Shylock's house, and Shylock and Lancelot are the characters present on the stage. Now Shylock addresses these words to Lancelot. He says, "Well, thou shalt see. Thy eyes shall be thy judge, the difference of old Shylock and Bassanio." So he tells Lancelot that since Lancelot has now joined the service of Bassanio, he will be able to know the difference between his old master and the new master, that is Bassanio. In other words, he means to say that Lancelot would now understand that how lenient Shylock was to him when he was in his service. And when he is conversing with Lancelot, at the same time he is also calling out to Jessica, because he has to inform Jessica that he is going to attend Bassanio's dinner party, and to give that information to Jessica, he calls out to Jessica at the same time. So he says, "What, Jessica? Okay, Jessica, where are you? Thou shalt not gormandize as thou hast done with me." What, Jessica? Means calling to Jessica. Okay. So here he is also instructing Lancelot that while in the service of Bassanio, Lancelot must not gormandize, must not overeat or feed too much as he used to do while he was in the service of Shylock. He also advises Lancelot to work and not to sleep and snore and waste away his time, and not to wear out his clothes quickly, okay, as he used to do while in the service of Shylock. What, Jessica, I say. So at the same time Shylock is also calling out to Jessica. Now Lancelot, he says, "Why, Jessica?" Okay. Shylock, "Who bids the call?" "I do not bid the call." So since Shylock was calling out to Jessica, we can understand that Shylock had a reason to call out to Jessica, because he had to inform Jessica about his leaving the house and going to attend Bassanio's dinner party. But Lancelot, imitating the master, calls out to Jessica as well, and Shylock is unable to understand that why is Lancelot calling out to Jessica. So therefore he inquires that who bids the call, who asked you to call Jessica? "I did not ask you to call." Then Lancelot replies, "Your worship was wont to tell me that I could do nothing without bidding." Okay. So your worship means he tells that when Lancelot was in the service of Shylock, Shylock used to often tell Lancelot that he never used to do anything without being asked for. In fact, Lancelot cannot do anything without being instructed or ordered. Actually, this is the complaint that the masters always have against their slaves. Actually, the masters, they want their slaves, they want their servants to do work willingly. But generally the case is that the master always has to be after the servant and asks them to do certain things. And this complaint Shylock always used to make while Lancelot was in his service. So therefore Lancelot here says that he can do things even without being asked for. So nobody asked him to call Jessica, but he called out to Jessica. So in order to prove Shylock wrong, that he can even do certain things without being asked for, that is the reason why he called out to Jessica. Just then Jessica enters and she asks, "Call you, what is your will?" When she wanted to know that why she has been called by Shylock. Then Shylock informs Jessica that he has been invited to supper, to dinner, and he hands over his keys to Jessica. Okay. Hands over his keys. Now this is very ironical, and this is filled with a dramatic irony, because by now, as readers, we know that Jessica has already made the plan of eloping with Lorenzo that particular night, and she had also thought of the dress and the wealth, the ducats that she would be stealing away from her father's house. But here, Shylock is entrusting the care and protection of his house to Jessica by handing over the keys of the house to Jessica. But Jessica only turns out to be the thief who steals away all the wealthy jewels and ducats from Shylock's house. So this is an instance of dramatic irony. But the very next question that is raised by Shylock, but wherefore should I go? This shows or reflects that Shylock is little reluctant to attend Bassanio's dinner party. He is hesitant to go to attend Bassanio's dinner party. He says, why should he go? He knows that he has not been invited to the dinner party out of love. The Christians, in fact, they are merely trying to flatter him, and that is the reason why they have invited him to dinner. It is not that he has been invited out of love. But still, Shylock says that he will go to the dinner party, and he will do so out of his hatred for the Christians, so that he can feed upon the prodigal Christian. So here a reference is made to the biblical story of the prodigal son. And here Bassanio is referred to as the prodigal Christian because he carelessly used to squander his money. And Shylock decides to attend the dinner party just to help Bassanio waste his money, squander his money. Okay. And then he says, Jessica, my girl, look to my house. So he instructs Jessica to take care of the house in his absence. I am right loath to go. Okay, right loath to go means he is very reluctant to attend the dinner party because the previous night he had dreamt of money bags. And dreaming of money bags was considered to be an ill omen. So since Shylock has dreamt of money bags, therefore he feels that something evil is being plotted against him, and that is the reason why he is reluctant to go. So we find that here Shylock is in a dilemma whether he should go to the dinner party or should he not go to the dinner party. He is not very sure or certain that he would be going to attend Bassanio's dinner party. On one hand side, he says that he will go to the dinner party and he will do so out of hatred to feed upon the prodigal Christian. But on the other hand side, he says that he has not been invited out of love, and he is very reluctant to go because he has dreamt of money bags. This shows the mental dilemma of Shylock, whether he should accept the invitation of Bassanio or not. However, as readers, we know that Shylock attending the dinner party is very important in order to facilitate the elopement of Jessica and Lorenzo. And since Lancelot was aware of the plan, so therefore Lancelot requests, he says, I beseech you, sir, go. my young master doth expect your reproach. So he says, I earnestly request you that you must go to the dinner party. Why? Because his young master expects his reproach. He expects his reproach means here Lancelot wanted to say approach, but instead of saying approach, he wrongly makes use of the word reproach. And we know that Lancelot in his speech makes use of malapropisms, similar sounding words, which completely changes the context of the meaning of the context. So here reproach means rebuke. However, Shylock then says, so do I his. So Shylock takes the word in the literal sense, and he says that he expects Bassanio's reproach if his villainous scheme succeeds against him. Then Lancelot, and they have conspired together. I will not say you shall see a mask. So Lancelot informs Shylock that there is a masquerade that particular night. However, he would not suggest Shylock to see the mask. But if you do, then it was not for nothing that my nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday, last at 6 o'clock in the morning. Falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 year in the afternoon. Now this is very important to understand, and here this is quite confusing as well. Now in this particular speech, if you closely take note of this speech, Lancelot makes a mistake. In the very first sentence he says, and they have conspired together. Lancelot unknowingly talks about the conspiracy which Lorenzo and his friends were hatching against Shylock. That is, they were planning to elope with Jessica. So Lorenzo was planning to elope with Jessica that particular night, and this was the conspiracy which was being hatched against Shylock that particular night. And unknowingly, Lancelot tells this. And then he speaks in such a way so as to confuse Shylock, so that Shylock is not able to pay importance or give importance to the first statement of Lancelot. So he says the following part of the speech in order to cover up the mistake. Here he talks of certain superstitious beliefs, okay, which Shylock believes. So following the nature of Shylock, okay, that is, Shylock is superstitious in nature. So following that superstitious nature of Shylock, Lancelot refers to some superstitious beliefs here. And Shakespeare probably here tries to ridicule the practice of prophesying by omens. And Lancelot's speech here is full of inconsistencies. Okay. And it is indeed very comic. Let us try to understand what does Lancelot say. He says that there is a masquerade that particular night and Shylock must not see the mask. But if Shylock does see the mask, then it would be for nothing that Lancelot's nose fell a bleeding on Black Monday, last at 6 o'clock in the morning. So first he says the Black Monday. The Black Monday actually is a reference to the Monday following Easter. That is the festival to celebrate. Easter is a festival to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And Lancelot here plays on Shylock's superstitious nature by referring to the Easter Monday of 1360. Now what happened on Easter Monday 1360? On the Easter Monday of 1360, King Edward III's army was caught in a black fog and cold outside Paris, and many soldiers froze to death. Since many soldiers froze to death, it is referred to as Black Monday. And nose bleeding, an unexpected bleeding of nose, was considered to be an omen of misfortune. So here Lancelot says that if Shylock sees the mask, then it would mean that Lancelot's nose unexpectedly started bleeding on Black Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning. And then he says, falling out that year on Ash Wednesday was 4 year in the afternoon. Now let us try to understand what is Ash Wednesday. Ash Wednesday is the first day of Lent. Lent is a period of prayer and penance in preparation for Easter. On this day, that is Ash Wednesday, people put ashes on their forehead to remind them that a man is made of dust and after his death he shall return to dust. Now it is very absurd here that Lancelot talks of Easter Monday and Ash Wednesday falling at the same time, whereas actually there is a gap of 40 days between these two celebrations. Now, this speech, I told you, it is full of inconsistencies. Let us try to understand what are the inconsistencies in this particular speech. Now, on one hand, Lancelot says that his nose unexpectedly started bleeding on Black Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning last year. Okay, it started bleeding last year, Black Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning. And on the other hand, he says that this incident happened at 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Ash Wednesday, that also 4 years ago. So on one side he says it happened last year on Black Monday. On other hand, he says that it happened 4 years ago on Ash Wednesday. On one hand, he says it happened at 6 o'clock in the morning. On the other hand, he says it happened at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So these things marks the inconsistencies in his speech, and it is rather very humorous. But why is Lancelot speaking in such manner, in such confusing and puzzling tone? Okay, that we need to understand. Okay, obviously Lancelot is not a fool that he is making such foolish comments and he is not able to understand himself what he is saying. That is obviously not the case. He is speaking in thus way just to cover up the mistake that he had committed in the first line of the speech, where he unknowingly tells Shylock about the conspiracy that was being hatched against him that particular night. However, when Shylock comes to know that there are masks, he is surprised. He says, "What? Are there masks? Here you me, Jessica. Lock up my doors." Okay. So he instructs Jessica to close all the doors of his house. The moment she hears the sound of the drum and the wild squealing of the wry-necked whip. Now what is wry-necked whip? A small flute having a curved mouth and piece just like a bird's beak. So a small flute having a curved mouth just like a bird's beak. Hence the description is wry-necked, that is crooked-necked. So when he hears squealing means shrill notes, while unpleasant. Okay. Actually the shrill notes of the flute, okay, music is admired by people. But it is worth noticing how Shylock describes that music. He says it is very unpleasant sound, the sound of the crooked-necked flute. Okay. or the sound of the drum. That means what? Shylock has an aversion to any sort of entertainment. And this is the perhaps the reason why Jessica told at earlier scene that her house was a hell, because Shylock never used to have any such sort of entertainment in his house. So his aversion to this sort of entertainment emerges out of his hatred for the Christians, particularly all those Christians who participate in such type of frivolous acts or merry making. He considers those type of people to be merely fools. So here he instructs Jessica to close all his doors, all the doors of the house, the moment she hears the sound of the drum or the unpleasant shrill notes of the flute. And he also tells Jessica not to climb up to the windows. Casements means windows. Not to climb up to the windows, nor to thrust out her neck over to the public street to look at those Christian fools who take part in the merrymaking or in the masquerade. But instead, she should stop all the ears of the house. Here, ears of the house means should close all the windows and doors of the house. Let not the sound of shallow foppery enter my sober house. So he instructs Jessica that the sound of shallow foppery means frivolous, superficial frivolity. Such sounds of merrymaking which Shylock considers to be frivolous or foolish should not be allowed to enter into his peaceful house. By Jacob's staff, I swear, I have no mind of feasting forth tonight, but I will go. So by Jacob's staff, he swears by the staff of Jacob. He swears by the staff which his ancestor Jacob carried according to biblical stories. In the book of Genesis, verse 32:10 of the Bible, Jacob boasted that he had only his staff when he crossed river Jordan, yet he returned with companies of men. So here Shylock swears by that staff that he has no intention of going to feast or to dinner that particular night, but still finally he decides, he overcomes his dilemma, confusion, and he says that he will go. We know that earlier also Shylock had declined the invitation of Bassanio, and here also Shylock has a strong reason not to accept the invitation of Bassanio. So what are the reasons? That he has been invited out of hatred, out of to flatter him. It is not out of love. And then he also has dreamt of money bags. And then that particular night there are masquerades, there is merrymaking, and Shylock has a strong aversion to such type of entertainments. So he has every reason not to attend the dinner party, but still he goes to the dinner party under the excuse that he will feed upon the prodigal Christian and squander his wealth. However, we can understand that the dramatist wanted Shylock to attend the dinner party, and it was important to facilitate the elopement of Lorenzo and Jessica. So finally he decides that he will go, and he tells Launcelot, go you before me, Shira, say I will come. Shira is a term that is used to address to a servant. So he tells Launcelot that go before and tell them that Shylock is going to come. So Launcelot goes, he says, I will go before, sir. Mistress, look out at window. So before departing, he softly speaks to Jessica, and he says, Look out of the mirror. He tells Jessica that you must look out of the window because there will come a Christian boy will be worth a Jewish eye. So worth a Jewish eye is a proverbial expression which means that something is of great value. So the reference here is to the Jewish financial payments made in medieval times in order to escape having an eye removed in case of default. So something that is worth a Jewish eye means something that is very valuable. So he, in that proverbial expression, he tells Jessica that she must look out of the window because Lorenzo would be coming who would be worth a Jewish eyes. And Shylock could sense that he was whispering something to Jessica. So therefore he said, saying this, Lancelot exits. So Shylock says, what says that fool of Hagar's offspring? Ha! Okay. So here Hagar refers to the Gentiles. Okay. Now Gentiles were the people who were despised, hated by the Jews because they were believed or supposed to be the descendants from Hagar, the slave woman who was a maid to Abraham's wife Sarah. The Jews trace their line back to Sarah, whereas Lancelot the servant is said to have descended from Hagar. So therefore it is a term of contempt in the mouth of a Jew. So he says, what says thou, fool of Hagar's offspring? Ha! Jessica, in order to deceive her father, she says his words were farewell, mistress, nothing else. Shylock then, the patch is kind enough. Who is the patch? Now here patch refers to Lancelot. We know Lancelot is a fool. A patch actually means a fool. Because in Elizabethan times the fools were extremely witty people and they used to occupy a special position in the court of the king. They were employed as professional jesters and they also had a special type of costume which we call motley, which is multicolored costume. So those costumes are there with patches, different patches. That is the reason why Lancelot is referred to as a patch, because of his clown's traditional multicolored patched costume. And here Shylock says that Lancelot is kind enough, but he was unhappy with the services of Lancelot because he was a huge feeder. He used to eat too much. Besides, he was very slow in doing any profitable task. And he used to sleep whole day more than the wild cat. Drones hive not with me. So he was happy to do away with the services of Lancelot because drones do not hive with him. Do not hive with him. Drone actually, try to understand the word drone. Drone actually is a male bee which does not go in search for honey and it lives on the food stored by others. So when we use drones to refer to human beings, it simply means idlers, people who do not do any work. So since Lancelot used to idle away his time, therefore Shylock is happy to do away with the services of Lancelot. So he says, therefore I part with him, and part with him to one that would have him help to waste his borrowed purse. So he is happy to part with the services of Lancelot, and at the same time he is happy that Lancelot has joined the services of Bassanio, whom he would help only to squander the money that he has borrowed from Shylock. Well, Jessica, go in perhaps I will return immediately. So he instructs Jessica to go inside the house and says that he would return immediately, and he finally instructs to Jessica to do as she has been told, to shut all the doors and windows of the house. Fast bind, fast find, a proverb never stale in thrifty mind. Fast bind, fast find. This is actually a proverbial expression which means that if we lock up something, we will find it safe. If we keep something securely locked up, we will obviously find it safe. So this proverb is never old-fashioned for a careful man like Shylock. Now saying this, he departs. And after Shylock's departure, when Jessica is left alone, she says farewell, and if my fortune be not crossed. Okay, if my fortune be not crossed means if nothing goes wrong with what she has planned for that particular night, then she has a father, I have a father, you a daughter lost. Okay, she will have a father, but Shylock will lose her daughter. So she will still consider Shylock to be her father, but Shylock will lose his trust upon his daughter, and he will lose his daughter. That means what? Jessica is going to elope that particular night if nothing goes wrong with what she has planned. Okay, so this is all about this scene. So that brings us to the end of Act 2, Scene 5. If you all have any doubts, feel free to ask me in the Google Meet class. Thank you and stay blessed.